What's up, guys? It's Professor Gnome here, and today we're going to be doing Golisopod EX. I played against this deck a little while ago, and I thought it was pretty garbage, if I'm going to be completely honest. But I've been playing around with it more, and it's actually pretty interesting and really fun to play. What we're going to be pairing this with is we're going to be pairing this with things like Spiritomb, Mimikyu with its Safeguard ability, and also Mimikyu or Klefki. All of these cards just kind of lock down our opponent, allowing us to lock them down, switch in, attack for 170, then bounce right back to the bench and replace it, and kind of utilize whatever it is we need at the time. So if we need to shut down abilities, we can go Klefki. If we need to block, we can go Mimikyu. If we run into a Mew or something like that, we can always place the Spiritomb down and prevent them from doing things that way. So the deck has a lot of options that are really strong. We're also going to be using Path to the Peak to also shut down and limit our opponent. The only thing that Path shuts down for us is our Greninja, so we're not really too worried about it. We can always get around that. Another interesting card that we're actually going to be using is going to be Gardenia's Vigor. I pronounced that terribly. But pretty much what it allows us to do is draw 2 cards, and if we draw cards, then we can attach 2 grass energies to any of our Pokemon. And this is important because Golisopod's Swing and Skedaddle attack, which is an amazing, attack name, is only 1 color or 2 colorless and 1 water energy. So with Gardenia, we can attach 2 grass energy and not really have to worry about it. And that's super good for us. We also run a Switch energy or a Gen energy just to make sure we always have that option available to us. We run multiple switches and escape ropes to make sure that we can get into the active whenever we need. Along with that, we run 1 Rigid Band. You could cut this if you want, but it's nice to have on your Golisopod to help it kind of survive if it does get stuck in the active. Bumping it up to like 300 HP makes it live some hits that it shouldn't and can kind of help it out a little bit. But yeah, this is the list, guys. Definitely let me know what you think, and if you guys play this deck, how you would kind of optimize it or change it. I think there's definitely some iterations that could be different or used or whatever, but I think this is really strong, and yeah, let's get into the games. Alright, we're into the game, and we're going to be going first. With a deck like this, going first or second doesn't always really make the biggest difference in the world. In this instance, we drew a hand that would definitely prefer to go first. But it's not the biggest deal in the world. We're going to kind of just fix that a little bit. We're going to go ahead and drop a Path and another Mimikyu. Is probably the best way to go about this. Actually, I think we'll drop a Vigor for now. We're going to kind of play a bit of an awkward play. But this is the turn that we're going to make. We're going to drop this stuff down so we have it for later. We'll hold on to the Path. Actually, no. We'll drop the Path. And we'll switch in to our Klefki. The reason why we want to go for this is because they could be playing Charizard, and that's one thing. And so a lot of what we just did isn't going to completely matter. But if they are playing Iron Valiant, then we're going to want every single possibility set up in order to stop them from being able to play the game. Unfortunately, it looks like it's Charizard, so a lot of this isn't... The Path to the Peak is going to matter dramatically. And I'd like to get another one of those in hand, so that way we can stop the Charizard and stop the Pidgeot and stuff like that. I'm curious to see what they add to their hand with the Ultra Ball. There's a Mew, so they have to have something to switch themselves out with. But it won't matter, because this is the other thing with like Klefki, just being able to prevent. We'll go ahead and Iono here just to get ourselves a new hand. The Klefki shutting down basic abilities comes in extremely clutch. So we can go ahead and play that down. We'll Vessel away. I think we Vessel away the boss's orders here. Go ahead and grab one of each. And we will attach the water energy for turn. End our turn there. We can attach a grass energy after this. And research, look to find ourselves a Golisopod and start getting damage off. The reason why, also what I could have done is use the Earthen Vessel, grab myself 2 grass energies. In hopes that, like, I get into a, my other Gardenia. But the reality is that the chance of me, like, top decking it next turn is severely low. So there's really no point to kind of force it. It's not really going to help me. So what I'd prefer to do is just, like, keep numbers even. There's a Radiant Charizard. Though getting into a Vigor would be super, super clutch. There's one more Klefki. That's actually pretty good. We're going to go and lay that down. We want to leave one space for a Bibarel later. So we'll go ahead and place the grass energy down. Research. There's our Golisipod. There's our Bidoof. And what we can do on the next turn is, depending on what they choose to do, I assume what their play is that they're going to attach an energy to the active Entei, knock this out, and go from there. There's a Seal Stone, Ultra Ball. There's a Charmeleon. Wonder what they want to grab with the Seal Stone then. Maybe a Research? I guess that would make the most sense. I felt they would more look for a way to clear the path directly, but I guess a Research is, in a way, doing that, because you're just giving yourself more cards to work with in order to clear it. But a little bit interesting. If they... So the main thing is that if they knock out the Klefki, right? Alright, so there's the Artisan. They can Rare Candy into Charizard. Now that that's not in play, and start to set that up that way. Really what we're going to be looking to do here is knock out the Radiant Charizard and the Charmeleon, because typically they're only going to run one Charmeleon. And so once we have Mimikyu in play, they're kind of locked. So if they attack with Entei into the Klefki, which is what they're going to do, yep. We place Golisopod up into the active. So we place Golisopod. We can attach the Rigid Band, make it a little bit easier to deal with. We can Artisan to find ourselves one more Wimpod to start building. We'll attach a basic water energy for now, and then we will Avery. The reason why we want to Avery here is just to force them to start just like getting rid of stuff on their bench. Hopefully the Radiant Charizard or the Pidgey. Both would be good options for us. Yeah, the Radiant's pretty good for us. We can go ahead and place the Bibarel down. Now what we can do after this is simply swing and Skedaddle. Pop the Entei. Get rid of one of the water energies. And from here, what we can do is we have the option of going into one of our Mimikyu, forcing them to place up. So we'll take the 2 prizes, always taking at least prize card 6. What we're in a position to do now is that it forces them to go into this Charmeleon place an energy down onto the Charmeleon, attack into Mimikyu. We go back into our Golisopod, knock this out, place the next Mimikyu up, and he has to find another option to knock it out. So he's going to have to find another Charmeleon. And that's kind of fine with us, because what we can do is we also have the option of super rotting our Charmeleon, or not our Charmeleons, our Mimikyus back into play. Curious to see what he's going to look for. Okay, just putting energy into the deck. Because if he makes the mistake, so Fire Blast, discards an energy, and we can just pull up our Whimsicott, or not Whimsicott, what? Golisopod. So we'll evolve this one. Then we can go ahead and attach manually here. We can Nest Ball. Get ourselves a Greninja. Just to help thin our deck out a little bit. Then what we're going to do is Iono, because we don't really need the Vigor right now to start setting up. We can just manually attach all we need. Now what we can do is draw, see if we get the Vigor. That'd be pretty hype. We don't need this or this anymore. We can get rid of those. Just kind of grab something to thin our deck. We'll grab another Wimpod. And we'll discard one energy, because really what we're looking for is really we're just looking for our Super Rods in order to get some energy back into the deck. And let's make sure, yeah, there's our Super Rod. We're really just looking to get more energy into the deck, but also just secure our Mimikyus. It's kind of the most important thing for us to deal with. So we can go ahead and Skedaddle again. Knock this out. Take a prize card. Jump back into Mimikyu and continue to wall. Taking another prize card. There's the counter catcher. And so now they could go like Charmeleon here, but then they have to take all the turns to manually attach for a while. There's an Artisan for another Charmander. So they could go Charmeleon here. Rare Candy Charizard, use... Interesting choice. Don't know if that's what I would have gone with. So we'll manually attach here. What I'd like to be able to do is just remove these to stop the Charmeleon play, but he only has one in the deck, I would assume. The problem is that it's going to take like 2 hits to deal with this Charizard, and I don't really want to have to go through that. But it looks like I'm not going to have the choice, so I'm going to draw. Find myself the Jet Energy for next turn. And a Super Rod. So we can put the damage down. There's the energy, and we'll throw Mimikyu back into play. Yeah, so it's a 2-hit KO. We have the counter catcher if he bosses up a Golisopod or something like that. Then that'll unlock that, and we'll be able to go from there. Okay, so they're going to concede because they don't have a way to get past Mimikyu, and that's kind of the power of Mimikyu and like what you can do to some of these decks, especially something like Charizard that just doesn't run an innate out for Mimikyu other than something like Radiant Charizard or its own Charmeleon or something like that. You can kind of switch and play around them, and as long as you know what your opponent's playing, you can kind of set up what you think is the most appropriate for that kind of initial wall. And kind of, I'm not going to say cheat some wins, but there's certain matchups that you just kind of win with, like against kind of more relevant meta decks that Golisopod kind of just snipes wins from. Charizard EX being a good example, Iron Valiant being a great example. You just have all the cards that kind of just stop them from being able to play, and it's pretty frustrating that Golisopod just jumps back to the bench over and over, and works really, really well. So that's game one, guys, and we'll get into the next one. Alright, we're into the next game, and we're going to be going first. Let's see what we get. Alright, we open up the Klefki, that's super hype. We open up the Bidoof. So, unfortunately, we don't really get off. I mean, unless we draw into something cool. We don't really get off into anything on our first turn. That's okay. But we do have Klefki down, and that's going to stop them from being able to use things like Greninja or other options to really get things going for themselves. They won't be able to use Mew to look for other items. So Klefki is actually a really, really good opening card to be able to have. They can... Oh, the Iono kind of sucks, actually, because I would have liked to be able to, like, drop the 2 and research, but it's fine. This is much worse. I hate this, actually. Does a little damage, switches. Alright. Honestly, the Ultra Ball's fine. So we'll go ahead, grab this, grab this. We'll grab ourselves the Bibarel. We'll place the Bibarel down. Attach an energy. We'll throw... We're gonna hold on to the Greninja. And draw ourselves some cards. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't care about this Greninja anymore. Considering we're gonna look to use Path to the Peak anyway. And we're gonna have, what's it called? And we're gonna have our Klefki in the active and stuff like that. I honestly think it's fine. We'll just hold on. We'll hold on to the Avery for now, wait for them to play out a couple more cards. They'll probably go into like the Mystic Step, Curlia. Attach an energy, put their Curlias into play. And so from there we can use Avery, try to force some stuff out. There's Refinement. This setup isn't actually too bad, because if we're able to get into our... So there's a research away for one Gardevoir. And a Mew. So this is what I mean where I'm going to say that they can do the... Oh, it's Mirage Step. I thought it was Misty Step. If we can find ourselves a Mew... Or, not a Mew, God. A Mimikyu. I don't know why I always say Mew when I'm thinking of Mimikyu. If we can get ourselves into... So we'll play the energy here. I think what we want to do is we'll lay down the path for now. We'll draw our cards with Incisors. And now we'll Avery for the last little bit. If we're able to get into our Mimikyus without much option, or like without much resistance, it'll actually work out pretty well for us, because the only things they're going to have to be able to clear it is Gardevoirs, which they're going to need multiple rods to be able to replace, and they already used one, or something like a Screamtail. So for now, we're kind of fine. We can chill for a little bit. We have the Ultra Ball in play for next turn. We can get rid of the Spiritomb. We'll never really need that, and like an extra random energy. Grab ourselves the Mimikyu and attack with Golisopod. Knock out whatever's in the active, go back, replace it with the Mimikyu that we are going to search for. Because Klefki's kind of run its course. It's not really going to do anything for us anymore. There's the second Gardevoir. We We're choosing to evolve into the active. That's interesting. There's the EX. They still need a way to clear path. I don't know there's fine for us, really. We have another path, so even if they clear it, you know, works all the same for us. We have the Nest Ball to get the Mimikyu. So we're in the exact same position. Not much has really changed for us. It would have been nice to Iono and limit their hand size. Alright, so there's the Clash Stadium. Meaning that they can now clear the Gardevoir. But it's not the biggest deal in the world. Because we can still knock it out regardless with Golisopod and keep doing the same effects. I think they only run 2 rods too, so if we can knock out this, force the rod, then we're kind of in an okay position. So we'll go Golisopod. Rigid Band just to be safe. We'll lay down the path. We can Vessel. I don't think we're going to need the counter catcher as much. We can go ahead and grab one of each. And we'll attach the water energy for now. We'll Nest Ball, grab ourselves the Mew that'll be important. Or the Mimikyu. Man, I can't stop saying it. I don't know what's wrong with me. There's our incisors. If we, let's see. He could be running double Scream Tail, but I don't think so. So let's go ahead and Skedaddle. Go into Mimikyu. Hey, didn't say Mew that time. Knock that out. Kind of force him to play something else, like find another Mew. Or sorry, be able to kind of force that out, find another Gardevoir or like a Super Rod or something like that. Which isn't going to be too hard to do. Like, all things considered, it's not going to be the hardest thing in the world for them to do. Man, I can't clear my throat. Jesus. Got a lot of things I'm messing up on right now. So there's the Super Rod. As long as we can clear out the next 2 Gardevoirs, then we're kind of in a fine position. Ah, perfect. So we'll take that win pretty easily. Like I said, we kind of put ourselves in a position that makes it really difficult for their start. But, yeah, it's pretty easy. That one was kind of, like, slow, or not slow, but, like, kind of a quick game. So, we'll do one more. See you guys in the next one. Alright, we're into the game, and our opponent will actually be going first this time. So, let's see what we get ourselves into. Gonna have to mulligan here. If we had a basic, that would be kind of hype. But unfortunately, we do not. Maybe we can get ourselves into something similarly as good. This is okay. Not as good, but it's okay. Double VIP, got ourselves the Earthen Vessels. So honestly, this isn't really bad at all. We're against Roaring Moon Lost Box. This matchup can be a little weird, but for the most part, it's okay. We would like to get into a Klefki and put that into the active as soon as possible. Shut off all of their Cone Phase. There's an Escape Rope. So really, I think that's going to be the play. We're going to go get ourselves into a Cone Phase as soon as possible. Get ourselves the... just kind of grab ourselves everything that we need with the VIP passes. We'll Iono to get ourselves going. They got rid of one Super Rod already, which is really, really powerful for us. The path is going to be pretty strong. So let's make sure we grab that. Grab the Bidoof. We can go ahead and play the next one down. We already grabbed that, so don't need that. We're gonna need this, and we're absolutely gonna need this. So we can play all that down. And then we will Nest Ball and grab ourselves the Manaphy just to protect all this. He could very quickly power a Greninja, get through us, so for the most part, that's what we're going to need to do. Then we'll play down the path. And from here, yeah, I think we'll just retreat. Actually, let's Iono first. And then here's what we want to do. I think what's going to be beneficial for us is actually, never mind. We'll retreat. I was going to say it might be more beneficial for us to bounce the Spiritomb back to our hand. But the reality is that it's just going to kind of clunk up our hand. We want to be able to place the Bibarel down and kind of start emptying our hand a little bit more. Oh, Palkia. Okay, interesting. Looks like they're... I'm not sure what the Palkia is going to do. I mean, I guess it's a way to power up the Greninja really quickly. They got rid of the path. But it doesn't matter because Klefki is still stopping everything. Which is why Klefki is so powerful. There's the single energy. They're able to retreat now. Alright, cool. So, we're going to Ultra Ball, get rid of Wimpod and a counter catcher. Grab ourselves a Golisopod. Go into Gliss. Go into Bibarel. Place the water energy down onto the Golisopod. And go for the incisors. This is pretty huge. We can go ahead and Avery. Getting ourselves more cards, but also forcing them to have to discard some stuff. They went with the Cramorant and the Roaring Moon. So, looks like they're going to look for like a cross-switcher play and putting the energies and stuff like that down. We can Pokestop here, I guess. Alright, perfect. Those aren't bad. Yeah, pretty sweet. Alright, so now what we're going to look for on our next turn is we can Vigor. Place the energies down on... Place the grass energy down onto Golisopod. Attach manually with, you know, our one per turn onto the same Golisopod. Use Switch, get in, start attacking. It's kind of what I think our route's going to be. It would be really ideal to knock out the Greninja. So that might be the play that we're going to have to make. Like, first. We can't really boss his orders yet, which is a little bit unfortunate. But we'll see what we're able to find and do. So yeah, I think we Vigor. Attach. I think we just do the slow play. Attach. We can get rid of this Bidoof, because we're not going to need that. Find ourselves... we'll just grab ourselves 2 grass energies. Why not? Then we can switch. Go into Golisopod. And from this position here, I don't think we really have to worry about getting knocked out or anything like that. Because they could Palkia V-Star. So let's see, how many energies? So yeah, they have the 2 energies they need. 60, 80, 100. Yeah, so I think we'll just switch for right now, keep it safe. Get the knockout. Because right now we're not in a position that we can even build a new... we're not in the position that we can even really build a new Golisopod anyway. So we can't really risk ours getting knocked out. If he goes into Greninja in order to clear out the Klefki, that's fine. We follow, place our Golisopod back in, we attach manually from hand, and just place in a new Klefki. Shutting off the Greninja's ability to draw them cards, shutting off the Comfey's ability to put things in the into the Lost Zone. And again, be able to draw them more cards. Once we deal with this, then we just have to look out for the Sableye. You already put Cram in the discard and used 1 PAL pad. 2 of the Comfeys are already in the discard as well. He's choosing to retreat. Okay. Interesting. How do we want to play this? I think we'll put an energy down onto Golisopod. And we'll end our turn there. Because what we can do next turn is we can manually attach onto Klefki. Bring in the Golisopod. Alright, so there's Kyogre. We have to hold the Super Rod to make sure we're able to shuffle Manaphy back in and deal with that, so that way we can stop something like Kyogre. There's the Escape Rope. Yeah, alright. We'll put Golisopod up into the active, which will open up Radiant Greninja. But since we have Manaphy in the back, that's not really that big of a deal. There's the second Super Rod to put like Kyogre, I'm assuming, back into the deck. The V-Star and Roaring Moon. So what we could do in theory is like Boss's Orders up the Palkia V and start attacking that down. And I think that might be what we want to do. There's the V-Star. Alright, so it's using the Star Portal, so I assume it's going to do 2 energies onto... Okay, so put the energies onto itself. It can retreat, go into Palkia, attack me, but won't knock me out. Even if it, like, fills its bench, I don't... no. If it fills its bench, it can knock me out, but it's not going to. So there's the 200. Alright, so we have pretty much all the energy we need to do all the things we need. But we'll go in, attack, get rid of 1 energy. And then from here, we can just place Mimikyu. Wall that, force him to go into Greninja and discard the energies. If he has Boss's Orders, that's a little bit inconvenient. There's Iron Hands. Yeah, if he bosses orders up the Golisopod, that's like a little annoying, but we can always put down the Wimpod, search out another Golisopod, or super rod it back in, use a Vigor to get 2 energies down, and manually attach one, and then go from there. And there's 2 energies attached to that. There's Sableye. Energy down on a Sableye. So we could retreat, go into Sableye. Use the Sableye to knock this out, and then if he does that, then we're actually in like a pretty bad position. That'd probably be the best play that he could make. There's the energy recycler. How do we want to play this? This is where like a Jirachi be super sweet. I think that's like one of the only other additions I would make to this deck is like finding a place for Jirachi to improve the Lost Zone matchup. You went Comfey. Interesting. I assume that means he has the other switch card. Yeah, there's the switch cart. Goes into Sableye. He can Lost Mine onto the Golisopod and the Manaphy. And now I have to be able to build up another Wimpod. And that's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle. Wait, what? Okay. That's interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop here. Cool, got myself that. Gonna go ahead and escape rope. I'm not sure why he just did that. I think he just got super greedy and like was maybe setting up for like an Iron Hands. That was so weird because he just threw the whole game when all he had to do was finish off the Golisopod. Yeah, I don't know why he did that. That was really bad, but I guess, you know, you can't control your opponents. GG's, brother. We'll take the win. So that's going to be the game. Kind of awkward end there, but it is what it is, I guess. That's 3 games. 2 way more convincing than the last, but you know, like I said, that just is what it is. Thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.